There are so many families all across the United States who are caring for their relatives. Grandparents, for example, caring for their grandchildren, or aunts or uncles caring for their nieces or nephews. And a lot of times, these family members don't understand the importance of making the relationship with that relative legal. So in this video, I'm going to share with you what kinship adoption is and the importance of it. Before we get into it, take a second to subscribe to my channel to get more content like this every week, and make sure to like this video. And just so you know, this is the place to be if you are in Nebraska and you're looking for legal help when it comes to adoptions, guardianships, or estate planning. So if that's you and you live in Nebraska and you're looking for legal help with your adoption, there's a link below that you can click on to schedule a consultation with our law office. All right, so what is kinship adoption? Kinship adoption is also called relative adoption, and it's when a relative is adopting another relative. So the most common scenarios that you'll find are grandparents adopting their grandchildren, or aunts and uncles adopting their nieces or nephews. Now, why does this happen? Well, sometimes the parents are just not available, right? They're addicted to something, or they're unfit to be a parent, or they don't want to be a parent. You know, they've abandoned the child for whatever reason. And so the child is not being cared for by a relative, okay? So oftentimes when you have relatives caring for other relatives, they're just doing it because it's the right thing to do, right? Obviously they love their relatives too, but it's the right thing to do, right? If you know that you have a niece or grandchild somewhere who's not being cared for and the parents want you to take care of them, you're not going to say no, right? But what I find is that a lot of times families don't understand how crucial it is for them to have some type of legal relationship with that child. So I want to explain to you what that means. So once that child comes into your home, it's important for you to have a legal right to care for that child, because if you don't, that parent is the legal guardian for that child, meaning that parent has the right to, put them in school and take them to the doctor and do all these kinds of things. But you as a relative, because you don't have that kind of legal relationship with that child, you don't automatically just have the right to enroll them in school, for example, or to take them to the doctor or sign things on their behalf. So because of that, it's really important that, especially if you've been caring for that child for a number of years, that you establish some type of legal relationship, okay? That could look like a guardianship, or that could look like an adoption. But in this video, I'm going to focus specifically on adoption. Now, before I go into that, I want to tell you a quick story to illustrate to you why it is so important for you as a relative to actually really think about and consider adoption of your relative that you're caring for. So I had talked to a woman, a grandma, probably a couple years ago now. She had been taking care of her grandson since he was about a year old. Now, mom was, going from jail to jail to jail, addicted, homeless, just had a bunch and a host of issues. Now, mom had voluntarily allow grandma to be taking care of the baby, right? And so grandma had the baby. She was doing everything that the baby needed. Fast forward now, the child is 4 years old, okay? And mom gets out of jail, and she proceeds to just go over to grandma's house with the police. And she just decided, well, I want my child back now. I haven't seen him for 4 years, and now I'm ready to be a mom. And so she goes to the house, she takes the police with her, and she takes the child and leaves. Now, of course, I'm on the phone with grandma, and grandma is distraught. I mean, for good reason. She's been caring for this child now for 4 years. This child is, the only person that this child knows as far as caretaking is grandma. He's never lived with mom before. And even when he did, he doesn't remember, right? So this is his stability. This is what he knows. His routine, everything is with grandma. Well, in this scenario, what's just happened is that grandma never established legal relationship. She didn't get a guardianship. She didn't try to file a petition to adopt her grandson. And because of that, mom's rights are still intact, meaning that she could literally come at any time she wants to, and she can take that child because she is the legal guardian, even though that child has not been living with her. Okay, let's say maybe it's been 5 years, 6 years, 10 years that mom has had no relationship with that child. If that relative, grandma, who's taking care of that child, never established their legal relationship, that can happen as well, right? Mom or dad could just decide one day that I want to be a parent now. I want my child back. And they can just go and take that child. This is why it's so crucial for you, if you're a family member caring for your relative, to really consider establishing either guardianship or an adoption over the child. Now, what an adoption does is that it gives permanency. It's not so much about you being able to make legal decisions for that child. That is important, but really the goal is to give that child permanency. Because you imagine, like in the story I just told you, that grandson had been living with grandma for 4 years. He was stable, you know, he was with grandma all the time and he had a routine and everything. Then mom comes in and swoops the child. Yes, she's still legal guardian, but that's not what's best for that child, right? So the kinship adoption is so important because what it's really doing is giving that child permanency, is giving that child stability. And that's what we really want. Kinship adoption is so important. Okay, again, it gives that child permanency and it gives you as the relative now the ability to make decisions on that child's behalf. Now there's other things that you can do, right? Adoption or guardianship are not the only ways that you can take care of a child. There's other ways that the law allows you to be able to step in and be recognized as a legal guardian. But again, for the purposes of this video, we're talking about adoption specifically. So comment below, let me know if you know a family in that situation. All right, so now that you guys know what kinship adoption is and why it's so important, I want to just remind you really quick, if you are in Nebraska and you are a relative taking care of a relative and you are thinking, wow, yeah, maybe I should consider adoption, there's a link below in the description box that you can click right now to schedule a consultation with my office, and we'd love to speak with you. All right, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to watch this video here next. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share this with your friends. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.